My fiance's older sister convinced her I was financially controlling because I kept track of our savings. She emptied our joint account and moved in with her sister to find herself. I froze everything, canceled every card linked to my name, and sent her sister an itemized invoice for the $22,000 I'd been covering over 2 years. 3 weeks later, the sister was ringing me at midnight begging me to take her back because she couldn't handle her anymore. I'm Miles, 33, structural engineer, based in Christchurch. Been with Brooke since we were 27. 6 years of building something I thought was solid. We got engaged 14 months ago. I designed a custom ring, moissanite center stone with a pounamu inlay because she loved the symbolism. Spent 4 months talking to a jeweler in Hokitika to get it right. Cost me $6,000. Things were good. Genuinely good. We had a routine. I worked full-time, she worked part-time at a florist 3 days a week. The income gap was significant, but I never made it a thing. I covered 70% of rent, all utilities, her car rego and insurance because her credit history was a mess from her early 20s. I kept a spreadsheet. Not to hold over her head, but because I'm that kind of person. I track everything. Our grocery budget, our power bill, our savings for the house deposit. She used to joke about it. Called me her personal accountant. It was cute. Then it wasn't. Her older sister Yvonne moved back to Christchurch about 5 months ago after her marriage fell apart. Husband left her for someone he met at a work conference in Melbourne. Yvonne was bitter, angry, and suddenly very interested in Brooke's relationship. The coffee catch-up started. Every Saturday morning, sometimes twice a week. Then the phone calls. Long ones. An hour, 90 minutes, always in the bedroom with the door shut. I mentioned it once. Over dinner, casual as I could manage. You and Yvonne have been talking heaps lately. Everything all right with her? Brooke put her fork down. She's going through a divorce, Miles. She needs me. Yeah, no, I get that. Just checking in. You seem a bit distant lately. Distant? I'm supporting my sister through the worst time of her life and you're making it about you. That's exactly what Yvonne said would happen. That sentence. That exact sentence. It landed wrong and I couldn't explain why at the time. Now I can. I let it go. Tried to be the good partner. Made dinner for Yvonne when she came over. Drove her to the airport when she flew to Auckland for her settlement hearing. Bit my tongue when Brooke canceled our anniversary dinner because Yvonne was having a bad night. Then I came home on a Wednesday to an empty flat. Half the wardrobe cleared out. Her bathroom shelf wiped clean. The photo of us at Milford Sound still on the nightstand, face down. And a text, sent at 2:14 p.m. I've moved to Yvonne's. I need space to figure out who I am outside this relationship. Please don't contact me. I'll reach out when I'm ready. I read it 4 times standing in the hallway with my boots still on. Called her. Voicemail. Texted. Nothing. Called her mom up in Hamilton. She didn't know either. What do you mean she's moved out? She was here last weekend and everything seemed fine. So I called Yvonne. She picked up straight away. Almost like she was waiting. She's safe, Miles. She just needs time away from the dynamic you've created. The dynamic I've created? The financial control. Tracking every dollar she spends. Making her feel like she owes you something. That's coercive, whether you realize it or not. I keep a household budget. We both agreed to it. She helped set it up. That's what controlling partners say. She's staying with me for now. Give her space to breathe. She hung up. My fiancée was living with her sister. Her recently divorced, deeply resentful sister who'd been whispering in her ear for 5 months. I sat on the couch for maybe 40 minutes. Stared at the wall. Thought about calling her mom again, driving over there, making a scene. Then something shifted. Not anger exactly. Clarity. She wanted out? Right. She's out. By 9 that evening I'd done the following. Rang a locksmith mate from rugby club. He came round, changed both deadbolts. $240, cash. Logged into our joint account. She'd already withdrawn $1,800 that afternoon. I transferred the remaining balance to my personal account and froze the joint. Cancelled the supplementary credit card I'd added her to 18 months ago. Removed her from my health insurance. Cancelled her gym membership, which had been on my card since her birthday last year. Pulled up my spreadsheet. 12 months of covering the gap. Red difference. Utilities. Her car insurance. Streaming subscriptions. Groceries, which I bought almost exclusively because she only worked 3 days. Her therapy sessions, $50 copay each week. Date nights. That weekend in Queenstown I surprised her with. Came to $22,347. I formatted it properly. Clean columns. Dates, descriptions, amounts. Added a note at the bottom. Since your sister is now managing your well-being and living arrangements, I'm confident she can assist with these costs going forward. Attached is a summary of expenses I covered this past year. Regards, Miles. Sent it to both of them. Then I heated up leftover butter chicken, opened a Spades, and watched the All Blacks highlights. Felt strangely peaceful. Yvonne called at 11. I let it ring out. She left a voicemail that was mostly yelling. Words like abusive and narcissist, and this is exactly why she left. I saved it. Might need it later. Texted back one line. She left voluntarily. She's with you voluntarily. I'm no longer funding her lifestyle voluntarily. Basic maths. Blocked her. Brooke called the next morning. I picked up. You changed the locks. I did. You can't just lock me out of my own home. It's not your home. It's my flat. Lease is in my name only because your credit application got declined, remember? We were going to add you later. We didn't. Silence. Long silence. You're being vindictive. I'm being practical. You wanted independence. Here it is. All of it. I can't stay at Yvonne's forever. Her flat is a 1-bedroom. I'm sleeping on an air mattress in the lounge. That sounds like a conversation to have with your sister. She seems to have all the answers. I hung up. Day 4. Yvonne showed up at my building. Pressed the buzzer 17 times. I counted. Miles, open up. We need to sort this like adults. Nothing to sort. She made her choice. She's not eating properly. She cries every night. She misses you. She's got plenty of time to work through that. And space. Exactly what she asked for. You're punishing her. No, I'm respecting her decision. There's a difference. She kicked the security door on her way out. I got it on the building's camera. Saved that too. Day 6. The apology phase started. Sort of. Texts from Brooke came in waves. Some genuine, some contradictory. I miss you so much. Can we please talk? I overreacted. I should have talked to you first. My sister says you're trying to manipulate me with silence, and that's a classic abuser tactic. That last one. She's trying to apologize while still quoting her sister's analysis of me. The irony was almost impressive. I replied once. When you can take full responsibility without referencing your sister's opinions about me, I'm willing to listen. Until then, enjoy your independence. Day 8. Her mom called from Hamilton. Lovely woman. I genuinely felt bad for her. Miles, love, what's happened? She's saying you threw her out. She moved out voluntarily and texted me she needed space. I changed the locks on my own flat that she was never on the lease for. That's the full story. She said you sent Yvonne a bill. I sent them both an itemized list of what I'd been covering financially this past year. Since Yvonne's taken over as her primary support person, seemed fair to pass on the details. Quiet for a moment. How much are we talking? Over $22,000. Oh, for goodness sake. I had no idea you were carrying that much. Neither did she, apparently. Her mum exhaled. Long, tired exhale. Look, I love my girls, but Yvonne has always been like this. When her own marriage went south, she couldn't stand seeing Brooke happy. I told Brooke that. She wouldn't hear it. Probably not. You're really not going to take her back? She didn't just leave. She let her sister convince her I was some kind of abuser. Never once sat down with me to discuss any of it. Just packed her things while I was at work and sent a text. That's not something I can just get over. I understand. I'm sorry, love. You didn't deserve this. That one got to me. After I hung up, I sat on the kitchen floor for about 20 minutes and let it hit. The anger had been holding everything together, and for a moment it slipped, and underneath was just grief. 6 years. Gone because someone bitter needed company in their misery. Then I stood up, made a coffee, and got on with it. Day 10. The friend called from a number I didn't recognize. Yvonne. She sounded different. Tired. Less combative. Miles. I need to talk to you. About what? She's falling apart. Completely falling apart. She won't stop crying. She's not working. She just sits on my couch staring at her phone waiting for you to text. Interesting. She seemed pretty decisive when she cleaned out our flat and drained our bank account. That was, I told her to take what was hers from the account. $1,800 that she didn't earn. From a joint account I funded almost entirely. That's not taking what's hers. She's running out of money, Miles. And I can't keep covering her. I'm living off my settlement, and it's not much. There it was. So when you thought you'd rescue her from me, the money situation didn't matter. Now that you're actually responsible for another adult human, suddenly it's complicated. It's not like that. It's exactly like that. You watched your marriage collapse, and instead of processing it like a normal person, you projected the whole thing onto my relationship. Convinced your sister her partner was the enemy because yours was. And now you're stuck with the reality that supporting another person actually costs something. Welcome to what I've been doing for 6 years. She started crying. I almost felt something. Almost. What am I supposed to do? I don't know. Figure it out. You're the expert on what's best for her, apparently. Hung up. 2 days later, day 12, Brooke showed up at my work site. Hard hat area, restricted access. She somehow talked her way past the front gate and was standing by the porticombs when I came down for smoko. Miles. Please. 5 minutes. You shouldn't be here. This is a construction site. I know. I have nowhere else to go. Yvonne told me I need to leave by Friday. She says I'm too much and she can't cope with my energy. The woman who told you I was controlling because I kept a budget can't cope with your energy after 10 days. But I managed it for 6 years. Interesting. I know how it sounds. Do you though? Really? She was crying. Properly crying. Mascara everywhere, shaking. Part of me wanted to hold her. Old reflex. But I didn't. Please. Just let me come back for a month. I'll sleep in the spare room. I'll pay rent. I just need somewhere stable while I sort things out. No. Miles, no. You made your choice. You chose to believe your sister over me. You chose to leave via text message. You chose to drain our account on your way out. Now you're asking me to clean up the mess. That's not how this works. What am I supposed to do? Whatever independent women do, I suppose. Isn't that what this was about? Finding yourself? She left. I went back to work. Poured a concrete pad that afternoon, and it was the straightest pour I'd done in months. Funny how that works. Day 14. Her dad rang. First time he'd ever called me directly. Miles. It's Ross. Brooke's father. I know who you are, Ross. Look, I know you're angry and I don't blame you. But she's in a bad way. She's staying in a backpackers in town because Yvonne kicked her out and she can't afford bond on a flat. A backpackers. $45 a night. She's burning through what's left on her credit card. I'm sorry to hear that. But I'm not sure what you're expecting me to do. Take her back. She made a mistake. A stupid one, but she's learned from it. Has she? Because the last time we spoke she was still telling me Yvonne's talking points while trying to apologize. That's not learning. That's performing. He went quiet. His wife got on the phone. Miles, this is Donna. You need to stop being cruel. She's our daughter. Then take her in. We don't have the room. Her brother's family is staying with us while their house gets reclatted. You know that. So everyone wants me to solve this because actually dealing with Brooke is hard work and nobody else wants to do it. Is that about right? That's not fair. You know what wasn't fair? Coming home to an empty flat and an $1,800 hole in my bank account because your other daughter told Brooke I was an abuser. Where was the family intervention then? Ross came back on. You're right. About all of it. Yvonne's been a problem for years and we never dealt with it properly. I'm sorry. Donna was arguing with him in the background. He told her to stop. I'm sorry, Miles. Genuinely. You were the best thing that happened to her and we all just stood by while Yvonne torched it. If there's ever anything I can do, there isn't. But I appreciate you saying that, Ross. Take care of your girls. We hung up. I sat in my truck in the driveway for a while after that one. Week 3. The collapse was complete. Through a mate who knew a mate, I heard the details. Brooke moved from the backpackers to a flatmate situation in Woolston. Tiny room, shared bathroom, for other tenants. $600 a week between them. She started full-time at a call center because the florist couldn't give her more hours. Hated every minute of it. Yvonne? Her settlement money ran out faster than expected. Turns out she'd been spending well beyond what she had, partly funding Brooke's stay, partly trying to maintain the lifestyle she'd had while married. She moved back to Hamilton to live with her parents. 41 years old, divorced, back in her childhood bedroom. The engagement ring. Brooke left it on the kitchen bench when she moved out. Found it behind the toaster the day after she left. I had it valued. $4,800 resale. Kept it in a drawer for 2 weeks, then sold it to a jeweler on Colombo Street. Put the money into my house deposit fund. Day 21, I got a long email from Brooke. No excuses. No mentions of Yvonne. No requests to reconcile. Just accountability. You were the most stable, generous person I've ever been with, and I repaid that by listening to someone who was jealous of what we had. Yvonne didn't want to help me. She wanted me to be as miserable as she was so she wouldn't feel alone in it. And I let her. Because stable felt boring and drama felt like passion, and I was too immature to know the difference. I'm living in a flat in Woolston with strangers. I work at a call center 9 hours a day. I have $800 to my name. My sister won't return my calls. Half my friends think I'm unhinged. And the worst part is I earned every bit of this. I'm not asking you to take me back. I know that's gone. I just wanted you to know that I see it now. All of it. Everything you did for me. Everything I threw away. I hope you find someone who values what I couldn't. I'm sorry, Miles. Truly. I read it 3 times. Showed it to my counselor the following week. She said it was probably the most honest thing Brooke had ever communicated. I didn't reply. Not because I wanted to hurt her. Because replying would give her something. Closure, validation, relief. And the whole point was that she doesn't get to receive things from me anymore. My life now? Honestly, better than it's been in years. Kept the flat, put the deposit on a small place out near Lincoln. Settlements in 3 weeks. Got a pay bump at work because I've been putting in solid hours instead of managing someone else's emotional weather. Started seeing someone. Very early days. She's a surveyor, runs her own practice, pays her own bills, knows what she wants. It's refreshing in a way I can't fully explain. I don't hate Brooke. I rarely think about her anymore. When I do, it's mostly relief. Relief I didn't find this out after the wedding. Relief we didn't have kids or a mortgage together. Relief that the cracks showed before I poured the foundation, so to speak. Yvonne texted me last week from a number I didn't recognize. You were right about everything. I was projecting my divorce onto your relationship because I couldn't stand that my little sister was happy when I wasn't. I ruined her life and mine. I'm sorry. I blocked the number. Didn't reply. They both want something from me. Forgiveness, acknowledgement, absolution. None of that is on offer. They wanted freedom from my so-called control. They got it. Every bit of it. The real lesson wasn't the spreadsheet or the locks or the invoice. It was this: if someone can convince your partner to leave you without a single conversation, the relationship was already built on sand. I just couldn't see it because I was too busy laying bricks. Brooke didn't lose me because of Yvonne. She lost me because she was the kind of person who could be convinced to leave. Yvonne just accelerated what was always going to happen. And in a weird way, I'm grateful. Better to find out at 33 than at 43 with 2 kids and a joint mortgage. She wanted to find herself. She found herself in a $600 room in Woolston with no windows and a call center headset. And I found myself in a place I should have been all along. Standing on my own ground, building something for someone who deserves it. Turns out that someone is me. I'm good. Finally. One thing I've learned through all of this, and I think it matters enough to say clearly. Stability is not the same as stagnation. A partner who manages finances responsibly is not controlling you. A partner who asks how you're doing is not monitoring you. If someone in your life is reframing your partner's care as abuse, ask yourself what that person has to gain. Because in my experience, the people who tell you to burn your house down are never the ones who help you rebuild it. And if you're the one doing the whispering, if you're the Yvonne in someone else's story, know this: bitterness is not insight. Your pain does not give you the right to dismantle someone else's happiness. Get help. Deal with your own wreckage. Leave other people's foundations alone. I keep thinking about that spreadsheet. The one Brooke used to laugh about. Called me her personal accountant like it was endearing, right up until her sister reframed it as control. Funny how the same action can be love or abuse depending on who's narrating. When I look back at everything that happened, the cause and effect is painfully clear. Yvonne's marriage collapsed, and instead of sitting with that pain and doing the hard work of rebuilding herself, she reached outward. Found it easier to dismantle someone else's relationship than face her own failures. She planted seeds of doubt in Brooke's mind for months, and Brooke let them grow because stability had started to feel like boredom. Every choice after that flowed from those 2 decisions. Yvonne chose projection over honesty. Brooke chose excitement over gratitude. And the consequences followed like water downhill. Yvonne ended up back in her parents' house at 41. Brooke ended up in a windowless room in Woolston earning minimum wage. Nobody engineered those outcomes as punishment. They just happened, naturally, because actions have weight and that weight doesn't disappear because you'd prefer it to. What I've taken from this, the thing that sits with me most, is that character matters more than feelings. I don't mean being perfect. I mean the basic decency of treating people fairly even when you're hurting. Yvonne was in pain from her divorce. That's real and I don't dismiss it. But pain doesn't give you the right to poison someone else's life. The measure of who you are isn't how you behave when everything's easy. It's what you do when you're wounded and angry and someone else has something you've lost. Yvonne failed that test. She let her bitterness override her conscience and it cost her sister everything. Then there's the thinking side of it. Brooke stopped thinking for herself. She outsourced her judgment to someone who had every reason to steer her wrong. When Yvonne said I was controlling, Brooke didn't ask herself whether that was true based on 3 years of evidence. She just accepted it because it came wrapped in therapy language and felt dramatic and important. Critical thinking isn't just for uni essays. It's for the moments when someone you trust is telling you something that could reshape your entire life. You owe it to yourself and to the people who love you to stop and actually evaluate before you act. Brooke didn't do that. She reacted. And reacting without thinking is how you end up texting your fiancé at 2:14 on a Wednesday that you've emptied the flat and the bank account. And then there's backbone. Just plain grit. The willingness to hold your ground when everyone around you is pressuring you to fold. Her parents called. Her sister called. She showed up at my work site crying. Every part of me wanted to give in because giving in would have been easier and I genuinely hated seeing her suffer. But easier isn't the same as right. If I'd let her back in, I'd have been telling her that consequences are optional. That you can blow up your life and someone will always be there to clean it up. That's not love. That's enabling. And it would have happened again. Maybe not the same way, but the pattern would repeat because she'd never learned that the ground can actually disappear beneath you. I built things for a living. Foundations, structures, load-bearing walls. I know what happens when you compromise on materials or skip a step because you're tired or it's raining. It holds for a while. Then it doesn't. Relationships are the same. You need integrity in the materials, you need clear-headed planning, and you need the discipline to do it properly even when every part of you wants to cut corners. Brooke and I had the structure but the materials were wrong. She wasn't built for the weight yet. Maybe she will be someday. But that's her project now, not mine. The thing I want anyone listening to take away is simple. Be decent even when it costs you. Think clearly even when emotions are loud. And hold your ground even when it's lonely. Those 3 things won't guarantee a good life, but without them you're building on sand. I know because I almost married someone who was standing on sand and calling it solid ground. The cracks were always there. I just couldn't see them because I was too busy filling them in.